Some of my fondest memories of John was whenever there was lots of people around together, usually in our house, in our group of friends that was always kind of brought together through music. People would be sitting around playing guitars and singing, and John would always be there, not necessarily participating in the jam musically, but always dancing. He had a particular way of dancing. Chum.
For example, can you show us?
No, we need Simon. My brother Simon used to rip him off every time. He used to do a little John impersonation. But yeah, he had this really kind of light kind of, like he was kind of being swept around by the wind or something. But God, he loved music. He would always be there, and he would always, of course, he played music and composed music, and I never realised that until kind of much later on in our relationship that John's music actually only started with us. When I say us, the group of people that were 248 Liverpool Street, which later became known as the Oasis. But John never really called it the Oasis. For him, he always sort of thought that, you know, the Oasis was like something that you found, but we'd already found that group. So he identified with the whole term of the Oasis, but it really surprised me when I found out that he hadn't been composing music all of his life. That was something that was inspired by what all of us around him were doing. And he wrote pieces for everyone. Beautiful piano pieces. They were like these really lavish, classical, incredible, sweeping pieces of music that were just so complex and so personal to each and every person that he wrote one for. And it actually wasn't until years after that whole 248 thing ended and the Oasis had kind of disbanded, he was up at my place and we were putting together his CD, recording his music, and he just sort of started telling me about the evolution of his writing and his composing, and I said, but you always did that, didn't you? And he goes, no dude, no, I'd never written a piece of music before you guys, which really, really surprised me, because I mean he was such an inspiration on not just a musical level, but so many different levels. But I mean, I guess, you know, the most precious and powerful thing that he stood for was unity and people coming together and being together in a way which they wanted to be. Like, we tried to start this housing after the Oasis 248 had finished. We tried to continue that on, and you know, we didn't succeed in kind of manifesting that the way that we were projecting that we were going to manifest that. And pretty much the reason it didn't evolve and manifest into that was because John and a few of us only wanted that to happen if we could do it in a way where consensus was the way we made decisions. We could only make decisions with consensus. Voting always meant that someone wasn't getting what they wanted within the group. So it was all about unity, and that's when I discovered that was an impossibility, because that's just not how people worked in that day and age. I kind of left and did my own thing because I'd never stopped believing in John's dream, which was my dream too, but I guess I just didn't have the strength of belief that John had that it could, because John always believed. I don't know how long that lasted after I left. That John always believed that could happen, and that is the way to do it. And God bless him for that, because he was so true to his beliefs, even when it led him into unhappiness and lonely.